Yo, what's going on, guys? In this video, we're going to be doing Haze from HackTheBox. This is a box written about hard. And yeah, let's get on to the video. As always, I'm started by spitting my terminal start. I'm started by pinging the IP address for the count for 3, 4, 10, 10, 11, 61. We do get a response back from the server, so I'll do -SC for default scripts when generation. We'll scan out ports on the IP. Doing this, I'll do my Z verbose. I already do run mmap scans. I'm just going to more into scan.txt. We do have many different ports here open. Port 53 open for DNS. Port 8080 or port 8888 for Kubernetes, 389 for LDAP, 636 for LDAP SSL. I also did have 5985 for HTTP, 8000 for Splunk. So we're running Splunk for HTTP as well for 8088. And 8089 as well for Splunk, and the rest are going to be for HTTP and ARPC. So I'm going to open Firefox. I'm going to start by checking out ports. Let's start by checking out Splunk, the Splunk application. So the first one we did have was for port 8000. So we'll go to port 8000. Next thing that we did have was going to be for port 80, 88. I'll check this for HTTPS, since this is going to be for SSL. And we do have SSL for HTTPS. Nothing under there. Port 8089. 8089. Let's go to advanced. Accept the risk and continue. And we do have a Splunk build for 9.2.1. I'm going to start by trying for like admin. I believe the default password is change me. So we can go to change me for admin. We'll try this for admin. And we don't have any default credentials for Splunk Enterprise. However, we do have a Splunk build for 9.2.1. So I'm going to try this for Splunk for exploit. We do have a Splunk vulnerability for CV 2024-3699-1. I'm guessing this is going to be we can read. We have a path transversal for modules, messages endpoint. And this is the POC for that. So this is going to en-us modules for messaging. You see that they did do a transversal for win.ini. And we have a video here. And I'm guessing it's going to go out to the response, right? So looking at this POC, instead of writing the script, we'll go to raw data. I want to see what the script is doing. I'll just wget my script. I'm just going to cat out for CV. I'm going to grep out for password. The reason I'm going to grep out for password is because I want to get the file or the URL or the payload, I guess you can say, for where it's going to exactly. I want to put this into Burp Sweep and try to get this file myself. We can actually test this out right now, actually. So we go to port 8000. Let's see. Let's go back. Go to port 8000 for its password. You'll see that we're able to get the password file, right? So I'm going to go to proxy. Go to proxy settings for. I'm going to edit for 10, 15, 12. Go to proxy. Go to intercept on. Let's take off this view source, HTTP. Let's go to repeater, and I want to take this off. I don't like this to be URL encoded because I can't really see what I'm executing or what I have. But anyways, we go to /d password, and we're able to do the same thing as the script does, right? All the script is doing is getting a GET request, making a request to GET, and getting that /d password and getting the output. It's probably using like Beautiful Soup or something, probably in the modules. But however, we do get this password /the password file. So I'm gonna copy this. I'll put this into my text editor here. We can crack these hashes later. However, we do have a user as Mark, Paul, and administrator, and Paul, Mark, Edward as well. Edward at Haze.htb. So these are on the same domain for Haze.htb. I'm going to start by running a crackmap exec. Crackmap exec, I just want to get start by setting up for my domain controller. So I'll just do like a -u for admin. Actually, I'll just do like SMB for 10.10.11.61. And doing this, I get the domain for Haze.htb and domain controller for DC01. So maybe I select host. We'll do 10.10.11.61. And I believe we can do like a DC01 for Haze.htb for my domain controller. And that matches crackmap exec for that matches just for the domain name for DC01. Haze.htb, as we're going to be using that for enumeration for crackmap exec, NXC, and those types of tools. So since we can read files, let's start by checking for configuration files. Configuration files for Splunk. I believe we can get a splunk.secrets. However, we do need a, I'm not too sure. I think it's a specific string that we need. So let's go to a file reference. We can go to documentation for this. We do have all the types of files here. We do have an authentication.conf, which is the file that I'm looking for. I don't think there's going to be a specific. I don't think it's going to be direct file path. So we can do this under program files for authentication. Right now I'm specifying the direct or the file path for this. So, and also I want to put this within CyberChef because Burp Suite will not accept the URL encoding. You can even like double URL encode it. It's still not going to work. Let's go to URL encode. We send that. And it seems like it's not under authenticate. It's not under the Splunk. So I program files or Splunk. Just to make sure as well, I'm going to put this for I want to go back a couple directories so we can get the right files. So I'm going to go back. We'll just keep this URL. We'll just go to file path. For Splunk. And using the AI overview, we have a couple of directories we can use for /etc system for configuration. I'm going to copy this. Also look into configuration file directories as well. So we got to test a couple of these and see if we get a hit for authentication.conf. So we have a etc system, etc system local. We'll try for system local for authentication.conf. Splunk etc system local authentication.conf. Let's go into specify a direct path to the program files. We forgot a in there, make sure we have a / and we can get the authentication.conf. So I was missing how do you say the /? So make sure you have the / anyways, it wasn't under, how do you say, Splunk authentication.conf. So just fixing that mistake, we're able to get this, the bind DNA password. The bind DNA password, which is going to be, we can use, I believe it's called Splunk Secrets, or something, I think it was for Splunk Secrets and do mice help. We can put this into a secret. Or I believe it's probably the other way around for, because if I do I don't know if it's requesting like a Splunk, if there's other files on here that we can use. Let's look under this directory. Let's go to Splunk file. So this one's going to be under /etc auth. So let's go under, I'm going to save this. We'll put this into my text editor. And etc auth. I'll check if this is under Splunk. I believe it was Splunk.auth, right? Or Splunk.secret. Doesn't seem like it's found. We'll go to etc auth. And we do have this under Splunk, Splunk.secret. So we can put this under the secret. I'm behind to secret. Look at the secret. Splunk secrets. Let's go into decrypt because we want to decrypt the secret. And we can go back and we have that. We have the hash. And we get the password as LDAP auth Splunk 22K24. Okay, so since we do have credentials, we're able to just get the crypt text or the cipher text through through the local file inclusion for Splunk.secret, and as well as for, I guess it was under what, Splunk etc auth local authentication.conf for to get the hash for that. So I'm gonna start by using crack map exec. However, I'm gonna go back into the authentication.conf, the system local authentication.conf. Under here, we'll find that we have the bind DN for Paul.Taylor, which is under users and under the domain controller for Haze. I'm gonna create a users.txt. I'll just put this for Paul.Taylor as well as the other users as well. Let's go back. This one was going to be for Edward. So Mark Edward, Mark, and Paul. So we don't have, we can also do that on these users, but let's, since we do have the last name for Paul.Taylor, we'll just do it for that. We can keep all these into, just keeping these Mark, Edward, as well as, and Paul as well. Just as a, we'll do Paul for Edward and Mark. We'll just keep those 3 users. So I'm going to do a crack map exec. So I'll do crack map exec for SMB. We do have SMB open, so I'll do Haze.htb for our host name. We do have Paul. If it was a Taylor. -P for that password. And then I'm also going to do a, I want to see if this does authenticate for, can we do WinRM? Doesn't seem to work for WinRM. I'll do a -rd brute. And this will brute force the RIDs. The RIDs is a method to brute force for the specific number on the server or for the specific RID. So if we respond with, for example, we do 1112, this will respond back with the server for support services for this ID group. In this case, we just go through a bunch of numbers and the server responds back with the type of users that we can enumerate. I'm going to grep out for SID type user. And we have administrator, guest, Paul.Taylor does exist. Mark the atoms as well. So I'll put this into my users.txt. So I'm going to delete all these. So I'm going to get the Paul.Taylor, Mark.Adams, and also a Edward.Martin, Alexander.Green. And we have a new user for Haze IT backups or IT backup. I'm going to do a password reuse on this. So I'll do this against user.txt. We'll do a continue on success. So we have Paul, Mark Adams. I believe we can do evil WinRM and see which one we can pwn. We can just do WinRM. And we can do a WinRM through for Mark Adams. We'll just test it out. We'll do a WinRM for 1010 1161. We'll do a -u for Mark Adams. Zoom out. We'll do Mark Adams for the password. We do a PWD and we are under documents. Okay, so we do have evil WinRM. I'm gonna Control-Shift-O. We also do have LDAP. So I'm gonna use LDAP search. I believe I do have LDAP search. Do mice help. So doing LDAP search, I want to start by checking for the object class for the user. We can use you can use Bloodhound or other tools. However, LDAP, you have to import it through a GUI, which we can do later on. I believe you can do that like on port 8080 for Bloodhound locally. You're like importing JSON into Bloodhound to do that, but you can also do this with LDAP. We do have the domain controller. I believe is DC01 for Haze.htb. We'll do -d. We'll do mark that. We'll do -d for the user. So we'll do mark.atoms. Haze.htb. We'll do -w for the password. And we'll do -b for the domain controller. It's going to be Haze. And I believe is domain controller equal to HTB. Make sure we have LDAP for domain controller, mark.atoms. The password -b Haze HTB. And now we want to specify the object class. So we can do object class is equal to user. Let's press enter on that. We'll do a member of. And now we using LDAP, we can look at all the object classes for each individual user. Here we see administrator, guest, DC01, domain controllers, Mark Adams. So here's Paul Taylor. We have Paul Taylor, Mark Adams, and he is under a member group for GMSA. So I believe this is a group management. I forgot the abbreviation for GMSA, but we can definitely use like PowerView as well to confirm this. PowerView will allow us to get the identity for the Haze IT backup user. So so you have a managed servers accounts as well. So we can start by doing that. So since Mark is under the GMSA managers, there's 3 types of attacks you can do. This would be involving just getting the clear text password for the GMSA. Since he is under the GMSA admin group, we can basically just get the clear text password, or you can also do like something else for like the NTLMA or the NTLM relay attack. I believe you can find this like on attack articles. So if you want more documentation to that. However, I just want to directly read the GMSA password for Mark, right? So I'm going to go to a GitHub repository. We'll go to GMA's GitHub. We'll do GMSA dumper. I'm going to git clone my, I'm going to git clone the repository. We do a Python 3 for GMSA dumper. We'll do a -h. So I'll do a -u for Mark the Adams. We'll do -p for his password. And we'll do -d for the domain for Haze.htb. And the groups that we can read password is going to be for Haze IT backup. So I'm also going to download PowerView just to confirm this as well, since we can powerview.py. So we can get the identity for Haze IT backup. I'm just going to git clone. So cd into power view. We can do a Python 3 for powerview.py. And let's look into some of his examples. So I'll do a Python 3 for powerview.py. So we'll do go to haze.htb. This is going to be for atom. Mark the atoms. Followed by the password that we did have for LDAP. 10, we'll do this for 10, 10, 11, 61. And we can specify, we can press it on that. Hopefully we're able to log in, and we're able to get login. So I'm going to get the AD object. So I'll do get AD object. We'll specify a identify. We can identify for the Haze user. So let's go into Haze IT backup. We can identify the haze.backup, and you'll see that this is the managed service account, as well as the group managed service account. So we can confirm that as well. We can also get a GMSA. So GMSA for identify, the same thing for Haze backup. And the same thing, this is owned by domain admins. So we do have Haze IT backup as domain admin. Looking back, let me just exit out of here. Let's go into, it was a GMS dumper. The Python, we'll go to Python 3 for GMSA dumper.py. Let's run that one more time. So we can specify the -u. For Mark Adams, we'll do -p for his password. And we can do -domain for haze.htb. So currently now we're not able to write. We don't have the permission right now since it's only for domain admins. However, we are under the, since Mark is under the group, like the administrator group for domain admins. So if we go to like identify for, let's identify for, was it Mark Adams? We find that he's still under the, so you can get the, I want to see what the output is for Adams, for Mark Adams. Doesn't seem to work. But since he is under the GMSA managers, we can edit, so we can actually get those permissions and add those permissions to ourselves. We can run it again for, we can run this script again. Then hopefully we can get the hash for the other users as well. So next, I'm going to open my terminals here. I want to go into evil winrm. We'll do this for 10, 10, 11, 61 for -u for Mark Adams. We'll do -p for his password. Press it on that. So next I want to start by, since Adams is under the domain admin, since he's under like administrators, he can still add permissions to the GMSA. So I want to identify or add the identity for, or add the group to Mark Adams. So do a set, do a AD service. I believe we can do a identity. Identity for, let's get that user. We have his user. We don't. We got a Haze IT backup. For Haze IT backup. I just want to see if it's it should be the same thing. Yeah, so it should work for without the $sign, but so we'll get the Haze IT backup. We'll do a minus principal. Here, I'm gonna copy this. We'll put this into a new text editor. So with the set the AD service to identify for principal. To retrieve, allow to retrieve, managed, manage passwords, and we'll do this for Mark the Adams. So we have principals allowed to retrieve password. So I'm going to put this into we don't have identity for there's an error here for, I'm not too sure, sets AD account. Let's run that one more time. Nope. Mark Adams, RET, RIEVE managed. Manage password. So we have that. So I'm going to keep these commands just in case. Put this into my text editor. And then next we can, let's just get the, I believe it's the same thing for AD service account. We can copy the identity for Haze IT backup. And we'll do minus properties. For the allowed to tree managed passwords. Press it on that. So now it has been changed. Now let's run the GMSA dumper. Let's run this here. Then we can run this one more time. Run that one more time as well. And we get the Haze IT backups. I'm also going to put this into my text editor as well. So doing that, we can just run those two commands, allowing us to allow us to change the identity for Haze IT backup to allow for to retrieve managed password towards Mark Adams, and do the same thing for the Haze IT backup for the principal, allow to retrieve managed passwords, and this allows us to change the group. So by default, we do have the domain admins are by default. So they're able to have permission to read for like the GMSA passwords. However, Mark Adams doesn't have the permissions yet, so he can't read the password directly. So since he's under the administrator group, we can modify the GMSA permissions and add themselves, or we can allow Mark to have those permissions added since he belongs to the administrator group. So I'll go back to my terminals here. We do have this under my texter, I believe. Yeah, we do have this under my texter. So I'm gonna clear my terminals here. I want to start by running, I believe it was a Bloodhound for Python. We'll do minus help. Let's look at some examples here. I want to run this within Bloodhound. So we'll do a Bloodhound Python. We'll do a -u for, in this case, let's go to Haze IT backup. We'll do Haze IT backup. We'll do minus hashes. I believe we can get the hash for 4D. We'll do -d for the domain for haze.htb. Let's press on that. Cannot find a domain controller. We'll do -dc for domain controller 01 for haze.htb. We'll do a -ns for 10.10 1161. I believe that was the 10.10 1161, which we do have for the IP address. 10.10 1161. We'll do we'll do -c for all, and we'll do get a zip. And the reason I want to put this within Bloodhound is because this allows us to view this a little bit more clear. Like instead of using like LDAP, how I did, this will give us a better output on this. So I believe I do have 127. We can just go to localhost for port 8000, or I think it's port 8080, I believe, for Bloodhound. Okay, so we can log in. We can go into, let's go to administration. We'll go to upload file, and we'll put under, I believe I did under bloodhound.zip. Go to upload, close. Right now it's ingesting. We can give this a minute. And now this is complete. So I'm going to go to Pathfinder. I want to start by checking for the Haze. I believe it was a Haze IT backup. We can click on this. Let's go into, let's go to member of, we'll go to domain computers here. Let's go to Haze one more time. Let's go to Haze IT. Let's go to the outbound object control here to see what this is connected to. And this is going to be connected to a support services Haze. So I'm going to go to pathfinding. We'll go from go to Haze IT to support. And we have right owner for support. So we go to right owner, we can go to general. This will give us a better understanding of what we can do with this. So we know that with the Haze IT has the ability to modify the owner of the group. Let's go into support services. Let's go to outbound. And we can also add a credential link as well. The support is able to have the ability to write over the property over Edward, and it allows the attacker to create a shadow credentials. So shadow credentials, we can do a little bit of research on that. So overall, looking at this, we can see, we can start by setting backup, the Haze IT backup for the group owner. This is the reason, because we do have right owner and the support group. Since we can, if we are under the support group, we're able to modify Edward's password. If we can do like a shadow credential attack on Edward. So let's start by doing that. So after a while, I did have to configure my bloody AD I did have to use or uninstall it and then reinstall it again. I don't know, I had so many problems with bloody AD and even using Certify as well. So I just reinstalled it, just apt remove and then install again, remove all the files again. Use Python as well to break system packages to get everything running, but I finally got everything running. So it's now that we have bloody AD, I can do mice help. Let's do bloody AD, and now we do have the command working. So I'll do bloody AD. We'll do mice host. We're going to specify the domain controller for DC01 for haze.htb. We'll do -d for haze.htb. We'll specify -u. It's going to be for the user that we do have under here for Haze IT backup. We'll do -p. We'll specify the hash for DE. We have that right. So now we're going to be setting owner for permissions. So we'll set owner. And if we do go back to Bloodhound again, and I believe we'd had this for support services, support underscore, I believe it's support underscore services. And lastly, we'll specify the last user for Haze IT backup. And now you'll see that we do have the old owner, which is replaced by the UID, replaced by Haze IT backups on support services. So now we want to give all permissions. So I'm going to get or add a generic all. I believe I believe always the second word is always with the capital. So it's always case sensitive. But and lastly, we can just copy the last command for support. Now we want to do add a group member. Group. And also make sure to always have the capital or for the second word for group member. So now IT backup has been added to support services. And so now we're going to be certified since we can run the shadow, or I believe it was a shadow credential. So go to outbound, go to Edward. Let's go to support. I believe it's a credential shadow attack. Let's go to support. All right, let's go to support, I believe. To Edward. Go to general. We can do shadow credentials on the object and authenticate as a principal using Kerberos, right? So we can just do we can basically just use certify for that. Probably the easiest method we can use is going to be certified. So username, we'll specify the Haze IT backup. Put the $. We'll do -hashes. We'll get the hashes for 4D. I believe we don't got to specify a how do you say, semicolon. So Edward Martin, it's going to be for the user. We'll do -target for the domain controller 01 for haze.htb. We can specify an S for the IP address for 10.10.11.61. I'll specify a minus account. Specify a minus account, and hopefully if this runs successfully, we're able to get the hash for Martin. So we have insufficient access rights. So we got to run everything again. So we'll set the owner. We'll get a generic call. Can do the group member. Run certify again. And hopefully this time it should run. And now we do get the NT hash for Edward Martin. So we can use evil winrm. I'm going to put this into my text editor. Evil winrm for 10.10.11.61. We'll do minus H, I believe. Or specify minus U for, I'll put this in quotation, Edward Martin. We'll do minus H for the hash. Press it on that. We do dir, and we are under our documents. We can do who am I. And now we're under Edward Martin. So I'm going to clear my terminals here. We'll just do Control L. We are on Windows. We'll do Control L. Control L. We'll do a dir. I'm going to go back. We'll go to dir. We have I believe we do have our user.txt under our desktop. We do have our user.txt. So I'm going to start by doing some enumeration. I just want to see what we do have under here. Nothing under here. I'm going to go back to dir mode. We do have a backups. I'm cd into backup. Or cd into backups. Control L, do dir mode. We do have a backup directory for Splunk. I'm not sure if this is going to be for just the backup for the Splunk that we did have under document root. But we can check this out. So I'm just going to download this file. We'll download this file. This can take some time, so I'm just going to stop the video. And what is done, we'll resume. The Splunk download is now finished. We have this outputted to a Splunk backup.zip. I'm going to do Control-Shift-O. I'm going to make a directory for, we'll make a directory for backup. I do want to copy, I'll say it into backup, copy the Splunk to this directory. We can unzip that file. We can unzip that zip file, and now we do have a Splunk. So I want to start by checking for like the same directory structure for this under Splunk. So I go to burp sweep. We did have a program file, Splunk etc system local. So we see it into etc system and local. We'll do ls -a, and we don't have anything under here. So I'm going to start by searching out for a grep -rl. Grep -rl will give us the directory path for what we're looking for. In this case, I want to look for a bind and password since this is going to be a backup. So I'll press enter on that. We have a readme authentication.conf. So I'm looking for the same file for the authentication.conf. We have under var run Splunk conf snapshot baseline authentication.conf. And looking at this, we have a bind and password. This is going to be a % or $1. So if I do minus help, it's going to be a legacy decrypt due to the $1. Also, I want to check for a as well. I believe Splunk was, if we do a, let me go back. We can do a grep -rl for splunk.secret. Let's do a secret. And let's look for a, do we have a splunk.secret? Let me just do splunk.secret. And we don't have the Splunk.secret. We just have a it doesn't seem like we have a Splunk.secret. Let me look at the file path again. I don't remember the file path, so if we do a Splunk.secret file path, this is under /etc auth. So go to /etc, go to auth, and we do have a Splunk.secret, so it's right there. Just run a file against Splunk.secret, and we do have this as ASCII text. So I'll do a Splunk minus help. We want to do a Splunk legacy decrypt. We'll do -s for Splunk, Splunk.secret. Let's go. Let me go back. Let me grab the RL for. Let me get this DN password one more time. Get this authentication.conf. We can go to Splunk.secret, cd into /etc auth. Get the Splunk.secret. Now we can put our ciphertext. And we get the password as Splunk admin 2K24. So I'm going to put this into my text editor. Now, since I'm guessing this is Splunk admin, it's probably going to be for the enterprise for Splunk. So we can go to port 8000. We do admin for Splunk. And we successfully get logged in as admin for the Splunk enterprise. Since we are under Splunk, we can actually start by, we can go to manage apps and upload a plugin, I believe, or an app. I'm search a plugin reverse shell. Let's go to GitHub because there's a lot of GitHub repositories that we can use. I like using this one. This one is the one that I do use. I'm going to git clone this repository. Go back. We'll see. Go back. I'm just going to git clone this repository. Go into reverse shell Splunk. And let's see how this works. So I believe there's going to be a bin under here. I haven't worked too much with this. We have a catrev.py. Or let's see into bin. Let's run this, or let's cat this a run.ps1. So it's asking for the attacker IP and also the attacker port right here. So I'm just going to VI into run.ps1, PowerShell 1. I don't know my IP address. I'll do Control-Shift-O. We'll do ifconfig for 10.10.15.12. And we'll do the attacker port for 9001. We can right quit. Let me just cat this out just to make sure. And we have, this is why I like checking, because we do with typos for 10.10.15.12. That's why I always cat out the file just before I do run anything, right? So IP address and also on 9001. Let's look into some documentation for this, or this POC on how to use this. So we did see the directory structure for bin rev.py, the run.bat, and also that ps1. Let's go into defaults. There should be a inputs.conf, and there is some of into inputs. And we can delete this since we are on a Windows machine. And we have the inputs conf. In this instance, the conversion file tells Splunk to launch the run.bat, which we did run. Go into bin, get the run.bat. So it's basically just executing PowerShell. And this will run every 10 seconds, and this will when the run that is called, PS1 is going to be in the same directory, having the same name to that will be ran. So we have those done. It's telling me to use tar for reverse shell Splunk. I'm going to cd back. I'm just going to tar for reverse shell Splunk. We have that, and basically we can just move the reverse shell TGC to a reverse shell SPL. So now we do have this under for media root, and we have the SPL, so we can upload this. I believe we can go to apps, go to manage apps, or install format file. I believe that's what shows on here, but I'm gonna start my listener. I'll wrap netcat my sound VP on 9001. We'll go to browse Haze. This was for, what do you have this under? This was listening reverse shell Splunk. And we have the reverse shell SPL. We can upload this. Wait for our listener. Press enter on this. Who am I? And now we're under Alexander Green. So we are under Alexander Green. I'm going to start by running a who am I to view all the permissions. Looking under privileges here for privileges, we do have a SC impersonate privilege. So I'm going to be using Go Potato. I think it was called God Potato. Yeah, God Potato. We can use this one right here, which allows us to run a CMD. However, since we can specify an argument for like CMD for who am I do want to specify a netcat. So I'll do a netcat 64 static binary. Usually like static binaries you can run without needing an installment with anything else. So I'm going to run, I'm going to copy this link. I'll do Control-Shift-O. I'll do a directory for binaries. I'm going to wget this .zip. I'm going to unzip this netcat, and then we can go to let's go to the releases here. I'm going to get a God Potato net4 exe. So I'm going to copy the link. Let me just wget this. Now we can start our Python server. So do Python 3 -m http.server import 8081. Now we do have our netcat 64 or the netcat exe, as well as the net4.exe, which is going to be for God Potato. So let's go back. I want to go into program data. We'll do a dir mode. And let's start by getting these files. So I'm going to start by getting netcat exe. So I'll do curl HTTP. We'll do 10, 15, 12 on port 8081 for netcat. I'm going to output it to netcat exe. Dir mode. And now we do have that nc exe. As well as we'll do the same thing for God Potato. So I usually like keeping everything the same to keep everything consistent without putting the file, as well as getting the file as well. So I know exactly what I'm working with. So we can use God Potato, net4 exe. Looking at the arguments, he does do a -cmd, specify we'll do a netcat exe. So he just specifies the argument basically for the command. So we'll do netcat exe. We'll do 10, 10, 15, 12. We'll do this on 9001. We'll execute a netcat exe. We'll do Control-Shift-O. We'll do all wrap netcat my sound VP. Just do all wrap for this one. Press it on that. We do get a connect. We press it on that. And we don't have a, let's run that one more time. 10, 10, 15, 12. We do who am I. Doesn't seem to work. Do we have, oh, we can do cmd.exe. Press enter on that, not netcat. Press enter on that, we do who am I. We don't get an output. We do who am I. We do dir. We're able to get all the files. We'll go back. We'll cd into users, dir mode. Now we can cd into administrator. We should have his desktop under here. We can do desktop, dir mode. And we can type his root.txt. Well, guys, pretty much in the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.